As a result of the coronavirus pandemic, exam boards have taken it upon themselves to release what we call advanced information for the exams that are coming up for A-Level and GCSE in summer 2022. And what the advanced information is supposed to do is give you all of the points on the specification that they are going to draw from when they are asking their exam questions. So it gives you a head start and forewarning as to really what the things you should be focusing on when it comes to your revision. Now, what we're going to do here at the Learning Academy is make lessons for every single one of these points in the specification in a lot more detail. So we've got a lot stronger revision for you to go through for all of the A-level history topics that we have covered, as well as the A-level politics topics as well. And that includes all of the AQA A Level History topics that we've covered. That's 10 topics in total, as well as EdXL and AQA A Level Politics. So in this video, very quickly, we're going to go through what is required and what is expected for you to know for the A-Level History module relating to the USA, making of a superpower. This is the 1K module. And ultimately, the beginnings, it seems to be quite evenly spread out across all of the different topics that you cover. Some of these modules will have very little in some areas and quite a lot of focus on others, but this one seems to be quite spread out across all of the history that you're going to be studying. So unfortunately for you, you're going to be studying, for the most part, the majority of the module anyway. So ultimately, when it comes to the first section, as it relates to the Reconstruction and Gilded Age period, you need to know about the weaknesses of the federal government. This includes the presidencies of Johnson and Grant, and also the failure of radical Reconstruction that took place following the American Civil War. You need to know the relationships between different members of society, the social relationships, the regional and ethnic divisions as well, and also the position of African Americans during this period, as well as the economic developments in the Gilded Age, so the rise of corporations, development of agriculture, urbanization, etc., etc. In section 2, you have to know about the political tensions and divisions that were occurring at this time, the impact of big business between the 1890s and the 1920s, the influence of the following presidents, so Bryan, Roosevelt and Taft, and also talking about the ways in which we see the development of populism and progressivism with and including Woodrow Wilson's New Freedom as he took control. And then you also then have to talk about the economic change and development during this time, the rise of the US dominance as an economic and industrial power. Part 2 of the A-Level is going to focus, again, is spread out quite evenly across both of the two topics that you cover. So from the period of 1920 to 1945, you need to know about the impact of the Great Depression and Roosevelt's New Deals that took place, the boom and bust recovery system of the economy, the impact of the Second World War on economic recovery as well. You then need to also talk about the social and cultural developments in the 1920s. So things like the period of the Jazz Age, as it so were, the role of women in society, the failure of prohibition, and the impact of the Depression and the Second World War. And then also talking about the relationship between different regions within the USA, and also talking about the role and position of African Americans in society and the rise of the KKK. Finally, when it comes to the final topic, the superpower topic, from 1945 to 1975, you need to know about the domestic policies of Truman, Eisenhower, and the post-World War II Reconstruction era, as well as the presidencies of Kennedy, Johnson, and Nixon, the New Frontier, the Great Society, and the Republican Revival, and the ultimately the switching in political affiliations of the Republican Party with the so-called Southern Strategy. Finally, we need to know about economic developments during this period, as well as, and very importantly, international relations. So the development and growth of the Cold War, relationships between the USSR and China, and very importantly, the Korean War, as well as the Vietnam War. So we're going to be covering lessons on all of these topics, so these will be coming out over the next few months as we go into and develop into the June 2022 exams.